Hi guys, Luton here, and we're back for obviously more Battlefield 4. We're doing some discussion right now, and before we get started I want to say just a couple of shout outs. First of all to Corey Dunn and Alex Mendez. Those guys have been casting the Battlefield 4 event on Twitch TV, 48 Dice, and they've been doing such an awesome job. I really want to say a good job to those guys there. They've been giving a ton of information, they've been doing all the interviews, they've been answering our questions, and they've been doing a first rate job all around. Second of all, I want to say Jack Frags, he's going to be on his way back right now, and I know that Jack has got a ton of footage. Be sure to go over and check Jack's channel. I'm sure you will be anyway, but I'm putting the link in the notes below. Be sure to go check out Jack. He's going to have a ton of stuff for you guys to look at, and you really should go and give him your time. So what have I been doing? Well, obviously right now we don't have any footage ready to post, and I don't know the deal how long it's going to be before we actually have any proper content. Like I told you, it was 72 hours I was told from EA from when we can actually start taking a look at some of the streamed footage and content right there. So Saturday I should be able to give you a little bit of stuff right there, but it depends how long we can kind of get that stuff put together. You guys I'm sure have been watching this all already, but even other big producers right now don't have anything to work with, so we really are just kind of hanging on and doing the best that we can. But remember, the beta's not very far away. We got plenty of time to go through all these things. The other thing that I wanted to say was, I know a lot of you have been asking me about looking at weapons. Can I do breakdowns about the weapons? GameSpot posted up a great thing today where they showed, like, they went through all of the equipment there, tons and tons of kit. Now you guys know I'm not really much of the weapons. I'm not a weapons guy. You guys know I don't really do weapon reviews. It's not something that particularly appeals to me in a great way. But what I did think I would do is I'll go through, I'll find maybe some combinations or little things, highlights that I think are particularly interesting. I might explain why, and I'll probably pick a few of those and maybe break down. So that's one thing that I'm thinking of doing. And another thing, guys, is that I've been getting into streaming a little bit. I've been pushed. A few people have sort of been saying, oh, you must start streaming, you should do streaming. I'm actually enjoying the hell out of it. So maybe later part of this weekend, or definitely in the next week, I will do a bit of a stream where you guys can ask me questions, opinions. We can discuss around Battlefield 4 a little bit. And I will post a little trailer to the channel when I go live on that. And I'll try and give you a heads up on Twitter as well. If you don't follow me on Twitter and you don't follow my Twitch, links are in the notes below as well. So go and check out the notes. A lot of good links in the notes today, so be sure to go check that out. Right, so I have been making my own sort of notation as the streams have been going on, and it got posted on Pixel Enemy as well today, and I'll run you through the things that I picked up. We can just discuss around a few little bits and pieces. So today obviously we saw Obliteration, and Obliteration is the game mode where you have a bomb, you have two bomb sites, and you have to pick up that bomb and take it to them. You guys have probably seen about this already. Now, what they were speaking about there was the focus is around that bomb all the time. So whoever the bomb carrier is, there is a huge amount of action focused on that player. So really what it helps to do is, often in a kind of Battlefield game, there tends to be a lot of distributed combat going on all over the place. But with Obliteration, it tends to really be focused down on that player. So you get a really intense situation where all the players are coming together to a real sort of focus point, and you can imagine the kind of really intense combat that happens right there. Another thing is that the bomb is always indicated on the map, so it's not like you lose that player for a little bit. He's going to be marked all the time, and again that only seeks to kind of intensify the combat that's going to happen right there. There is a delay with the bomb before it respawns, and that's going to allow the team to kind of move around, reset, regroup, get themselves prepared for the next combat. Another thing is that the bomb is blinking red all the time, and when you pick that bomb up, you also are blinking red. So again, it's not subtle, you're going to be a very obvious target. It's a very fast game mode. We saw that today. Rounds can be over today in literally as fast as 5 minutes. The guys were coming into the stand there at Gamescom. They were playing a game of Obliteration, and before they even knew it, it was over. And they were like, you could see them a bit disorientated. They were like, wow, this was over so fast. They're kind of leaving the room again. And even the casters, Corey and Alex, were like, oh, the game's over. Okay, so it's a real fast game mode. If you get taken down, if you're in water, we saw today there's a guy, he starts swimming out whilst he was carrying the bomb, he gets taken out, the bomb will actually float in the water, so you can go back and pick that up there. We saw that there were 2 parachute drop points for Obliteration, so people can spawn in and parachute down. Okay, then one of the next things was the actual time it takes to arm a bomb and for it to detonate. And this was actually really, really short. I estimated that it was about half the time it would take you to normally destroy an MCOM from when it arms to when it detonates. And I said this on Twitter. It was actually confirmed then by Dennis Bramvar, and I hope I pronounced that right. He's a DICE multiplayer gameplay designer, and he confirmed to me, he was like, yeah, that's exactly right. It's half the time time it takes for an MCOM. So it's real fast. Once it gets armed, you need to get the hell on that. And again, Corey and Alex said that today in the stream. They were like, yeah, when this bomb gets armed, you need to get on it. You can't waste time on Obliteration. You have to get on that damn bomb and get it diffused, or it's game over. We saw as well they're only playing rounds of 3 and 3, so again, real fast game turnaround there. And obviously this, as well as some other game modes that are coming in, they're clearly setting it up for the kind of esports 5v5 teams. They want to have that kind of really intense infantry gameplay, as well as the wider sort of battlefield, and we'll see some more bits and pieces come out this week on that as well. Another thing was obviously the spawning point of the bomb. Now the bombs are spawned in a number of random points, okay, so it's not fully random. There are a number of points dotted all around the central sort of island. That's an important point as well, is that the bomb points were all focused around the central island, so you won't need to kind of stray off all over the place. It helps again to focus that gameplay on the central island. And Lars Gustafsson was talking about the random spawn points. They asked about that, and he was saying that, well, right now there is a lot of spawn points, but he was saying in the future they may even try to add more in. So it could be in future patches they actually start adding some more spawn points there for the bombs and things to keep it fresh, so that people don't start sort of thinking, oh yeah, they start to see a pattern or anything like that, because you know how it can be with these kind of spawns. So it could be that DICE try and mix it up over time to keep that gameplay fresh there. Another thing was that it seems once you pick up the bomb in Obliteration, you can't drop it. It's literally plant or death. I was watching some of the stream and I was noticing that when the guys had the bomb, they literally would run till they died. I actually put this question through to Corey and Alex, and they asked this, and it does seem to be the case that once you pick up the bomb, you cannot drop it. It's just stuck with you. So be careful. If you don't want that bomb, don't go pick it up, because once you've got it, you're stuck with it until you die. So it's a real do or die situation. Tactical depth to how you approach the objective. It's really interesting, the kind of, with Obliteration, the kind of choices you're going to have to make here. Do you go full on straight away, just throw your whole team at it, or do you play a little bit more sort of subtle? Do you sit back? Do you allow the enemy to pick up that bomb and then you kind of maybe try and steal it back off of them, or even allow them to move it around the map, grab it, take it on a fast little boat drive, something like that? So it's going to be interesting again there. It offers a lot of options as to what people are going to do. Then we went on, they talked a little bit about Domination. Now this is really Conquest Domination that we saw from the Close Quarters DLC from Battlefield 3. But now it seems to be that this is going to be a standard game mode. It's going to be Domination within Battlefield 4. So you're going to have that kind of a really infantry-based close quarter gameplay, but on the standard Battlefield maps in Battlefield 4. So it's going to be, you know, imagine the kind of maps like you would have for TDM in Battlefield 3, but imagine that it was like a Domination game mode. I actually really like this. Domination has been a massive favourite game mode for mine for a very long time. It was a favourite game mode of mine in Call of Duty, and I really enjoyed it in Close Quarters, because it's just a really intense but still tactical and objective game mode, and it provides some of the most intense kind of combat situations that you can really have when it comes to infantry anyway. So I'm really pleased that that's coming in. They did say that it's infantry based, but they might look at having some light vehicles in there for a little bit of transport, things like that. So really looking forward to that one coming in. I think it's going to be great for Battlefield 4. Okay, then next we've got some more specific kind of bullet point gameplay changes and details. Now the defibrillators, I already made my video about defibrillators saying that I'd seen it takes about 4 seconds to charge this up. Now it has been basically confirmed that you can get a shorter charge as well, but like I said in the video, it's going to give that player a less percentage. So it's a trade-off. You can get them up quicker, but at the same time they're going to have less health, they're more vulnerable, so it's a real trade-off. The other thing is that it seems that the medic defibrillators also have charge packs. Now this was actually sort of suggested from a lot of producers, I think sort of myself, Level Cap, Matimio, when we've discussed about it in my roundtable series as well before. We discussed about options, things that you could do with the defibrillators. One was the change to the charge time, another was the actual, you could have sort of ammo like a charge pack. It seems that the defibrillators have 3 charges. Now whether you can pick this up from ammo boxes, we don't know. So defibs have really been, you know, hit pretty hard with some changes there. You've got a long sort of charge time, plus it's going to have charge packs. So it goes without saying that res trains, they really are a thing of the past, and people that have played the alpha were reaching out and commenting to me today about the defibrillator, saying that when they had played in the alpha, yeah, defibs were real hard, and that trying to get a res train going was extremely difficult. So you can see that that's going to definitely change. The player counts, a lot of people questioned how we're going to have 64 players with 5-man squads. How is that going to work? Even if you factored in the commanders, how is it going to work? How are you going to distribute distribute it up? Well, again, this was something they actually answered a little bit today in the stream, and they actually said that yeah, the expectation is, and I say this could be open to change, but the expectation is that you won't be able to have all full 5-man squads. All right, so you're going to end up with a few 5-mans and then a couple of 4-mans, maybe something like that. But the guys actually said today, well, you know how Battlefield is. You'll often get some people in kind of 2-man squads anyway, 3-man squads, maybe even a lone wolf here or there. So it's just the way that it goes. I think they're kind of basically saying, look, you have the option to have more people anyway, but maybe just not every squad can be 5-man. Not sure how I feel about that. I think it would have been better if they could have adjusted it so that you could, if you had to, have full 5-man across the board, if that's certainly the case. So I'd like to see what you guys think about that indeed. It seems a bit of a curious choice, but there you go. So now we go into a couple of other little bits. These are kind of more straightforward bullet points. I was looking and we were thinking about a lot of the changes. We asked a few questions, got some answers. So, for example, a lot of them was around dynamic weather. Does wind affect sniper bullets? People have been asking this question. No, confirmed, wind does not affect sniper bullets. Does it affect air vehicles, helicopters, jets? Does the wind and the change, the storm, does that affect those vehicles as well? No, that was confirmed. It does not affect them. A lot of other ones as well, dynamic lighting. Does the sun move? Do we have it cycles from day to night? Again, confirmed, no. Lars did say they have the option to do that, but they're not doing that in game currently. So again, that's confirmed. That's not happening in Battlefield 4. Another one, does the bullet trajectory change as it hits the water? And what they said in this one, this was not 100% because Lars G, he was not fully sure on this one, but basically he said that as he understood it, bullets would still stay on target, but they would lose some of their strength. But as I say, that's not 100% confirmed. When running through water, this was an interesting one. When you move through water, your character seems to actually raise their gun up a little bit to get above some of that water level. So that's an interesting little animation they've put in there. When it came to camo, they were talking a little bit about that, and apparently what we heard was there were 6 camo categories, but they didn't really say much more about it than that. So, but apparently there are a lot of camos. I said perhaps even over 40, so there's a lot going on there. Camos as well for vehicles are confirmed. You can have camos for your vehicles, so that's an interesting one. Another thing that you will have seen is about the emblems. You're going to be able to carry the emblems that you can have for battle log and actually imprint them onto vehicles and stuff. Not too sure how I feel about that one. I'm not entirely sure whether that's going to work. I think you might need to have a kind of strict thing in place there, a few presets, so that people don't start, well, you know, abusing it like we've seen in other games. But again, not too sure about that one, but it's in there. Spectator mode. Now, spectator mode, a lot of people were speculating about this for consoles, whether it would be there or not. Spectator mode is confirmed for consoles. It's confirmed for next-gen consoles. Spectator mode will be there. I do not believe it will be there for current systems, but for next-gen consoles, definitely spectator mode is going to be there. Great news for esports, great news for just people in general to be able to enjoy that on the next-gen consoles. Obviously, it's on the PC as well. Another thing we heard today was about a vehicle piece of equipment. This was the gyro stabilizer. A lot of people have been asking what the gyro stabilizer is. What does it do? If you think about what it's called, it's a gyro stabilizer. So it actually helps you to control the vehicle, and that was pretty much what they said today. It allows you to be more maneuverable in the air, but they also said when you get into combat, it stabilizes itself. So again, not the best explanation, but interested to find out a little bit more about that. I'm absolutely sure that we will, but in essence, it's going to help you have some, you know, more control over your vehicles, as I understand that. Javelins, they talked a little bit about javelins today, and what they had said was that javelins function just as they do in Battlefield 3, so it's the same principle, lock-ons and so on. Battlefield 4 Premium Package. Now, people asked about this, what's going to be the deal with it? Battlefield 4 Premium Package is available from release, from day one. So a lot of people complain in Battlefield 3 that they released Premium later, and that some people have bought DLCs when they would have, you know, perhaps preferred to wait for Premium itself. So with Battlefield 4, it's going to be available from day one. You can get Premium, you can order it straight away, and it means that you'll be able to know that you get all content from there on out. Once you paid, that's it. You have all of those DLCs, you have all the content right through to the end of the game. So that's really good. It's great again that they listen to the community there, and you can see that they've made the changes accordingly. One of the other things that they talked about was the knifing, specifically with the counter knife, and what they said was that when it comes to counter knifing, you can't just be spamming the F key to counter knife. If you feel a guy, you can't just start hitting it and you know you're going to get that. You have to initiate the counter knife at the correct time. I don't know how tricky this is going to be. Again, we'll have some more details once we hear from people that have actually had those experiences themselves. Maybe if you're at Gamescom and you're watching this and you have actually been in that situation, drop a little comment, let us know. But yeah, basically it's not just a spam tool. You've got to get the right key on board for that one. And so the last one as well was the Levolution off. People have been asking, can you turn Levolution off, for example, in tournaments or to host for private servers, so you don't have to have that kind of mechanic in place? And they answered this as well. They said they're looking into the options, but depending on the game mode, you'll get different aspects with that anyway. Certain game modes are going to focus your attention onto different areas of the map, so Levolution is going to have less cores, it's going to have less impact on the game in general. So it really depends on what game mode you're playing, what your objective is, as to whether or not Levolution really comes into play. And I think that's what they were saying, was that for competitive you generally have fewer players anyway, so those kind of big cinematic sequences, those script events, are perhaps not going to happen so much. And I guess the last thing I wanted to do was just clarify a little bit about what I said on another video there. Yeah, one of the last things I wanted to mention was just about my explanation on another video about these kind of scripted Levolution events. Now, they're not scripted, but they are scripted, and this was what some people were a little bit confused about, what I was my explanation for this. Basically, when I say they're scripted, what I mean is, yes, players have to initiate them. So for example, in the situation with Paracel Storm, you actually have to destroy those wind turbines, and then it initiates a scripted event. Okay, so you as a player have to destroy those towers, but then that triggers the event, and that's what I meant by it. And it also triggers the storm to come into play, and that was the deal. So basically with Paracel Storm, once you take down those wind turbines, it starts off the sequence of events, it starts off the storm, and you get that dynamic weather change coming in. Similarly with Shanghai, once you take down that building and it all comes crashing down, before the building is down you have nice clear air. Once the building is actually down, you have that dusty smoke mist all over the map, so it changes the environment. So it is player initiated, but it's a scripted event, and that's really what we meant by talking about there. So guys, that's been my little breakdown for day 2 of Battlefield 4 at Gamescom. We're going to have a lot more stuff coming up this week. I've got other videos planned with other producers. We're going to have more content coming. As I say, coming up towards the weekend, I'm going to be able to show some stream footage. I'm going to be able to break down a little bit of that stuff as well. And we're going to have tons more time, tons more stuff to break this down. We got so much time, guys, to be raking this over. Like I say, I will be perhaps looking to do like a little highlights, talking about some weapons. If you have any specific weapons you want me to look at, anything that you know that I have used, for example, in Battlefield 3 or spoken about before, feel free to drop that in there if you want my opinions on it. We're going to be back on the stream tomorrow with Corey and Alex. I'm going to be asking them some more questions over Twitter. If you've got a question for the guys you want me to post through to them, put it here in the notes below. If you haven't followed me on Twitter, go check me out at Lutin09. Loads more content coming up this week, guys. Loads more to break down. Stay here, stay subscribed. It's all coming this week. Battlefield 4.